Wah, wah, wah! Hey everybody, Doodle here. And yeah, last week we had the new Warioware game come out, Warioware Move It. And I thought it'd be fun, we could do a loose little video, talk about what's working, talk about what's not, and yeah, let's do it. For this little first takes video, I really just want to talk about my first couple hours with the game. I haven't even beaten it yet, but I wanted to give a quick little impression. So yeah, Warioware. It's just a bunch of quick mini games. Think Mario Party, but at 10x speed. You usually have a couple seconds to see a mini game and figure out what to do, and then hopefully do it within the time commitment. With Warioware, I've only ever dabbled in the series. I played a little bit of Smooth Moves, the Wii version, in college with some friends. And then I've on and off played the GameCube one, but I did not play either of them really when they came out. I was sort of late to the party, didn't really own them, just dabbled. With the Wii, they added this idea of super simple motion controls. You're gonna waggle the Wiimote, maybe use the nunchuck to add some movement to it, but otherwise it's pretty simple motion controls, but it was still really cool and really fun. This Warioware Move It, really takes the motion controls idea and bumps it up in a way that I think really makes the game work, honestly, the best it's ever worked. When I say forms, I'm meaning the grip that your hands have. So, for example, the first form that they teach you is called Choo-Choo. So you have a Joy-Con in each hand, and you're basically as if you were reenacting a train, chugging your arms left and right to try to go wah 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 wah, and then you want to stop before the train goes too far. Imagine you have your hands out T-posed and you're flapping like a bird. It's so cool to see the character on the screen that you're playing with actually flap the wings with you. It's not perfect, it's not like an exact one-to-one, but it is usually close enough that I actually feel pretty connected to the character I'm using my motion controls with. Get to be a satellite, another one where you're sort of T-posing out, and it's one of those things that I think if I was using a control stick to just wiggle my character, to just turn them towards the sun, then it's kind of whatever, but because I'm actually arms outstretched, feeling like a satellite and turning towards the sun with my full body, it has such a charm to it. And I have these funny thoughts where I'm like, I'm a satellite. This is what it feels like to be a satellite. And for some reason, that makes me smile. It's actually surprisingly enjoyable. And so yeah, I think Warioware, they've totally nailed the presentation. The graphics are great. The style that they've gone with, this sort of comic book, simple but punchy outlines, almost anime in a lot of its expressions. It's very over the top. I think that style, they've really nailed it in Warioware. And it's also awesome that they've been able to add in full voice acting for a lot of the cutscenes in this game. The music is fun, I don't think anything is too memorable, but I think it's enough that adds to the package alongside the voice acting and the narrator voice to really make something that feels fresh, feels punchy. Honestly, the game actually had me laughing in a way that just feels so different than any other Nintendo game. I feel like they're allowed to make really weird, I don't want to say crass, but just strange jokes for the Mario universe. The coolest thing about Wario is that he's been able to be sort of the anti-Mario. Is Wario evil? It's definitely a discussion for another video. But I think Wario is definitely kind of a sneaky, conniving guy, and I think that Nintendo, it's cool that they get to have fun with that in the WarioWare games. Alright, but we're here to talk about the mini games. That is ultimately the make or break of WarioWare. Kinda similar to Mario Party. If all the mini games are really boring or really confusing or aren't hitting the way you want them to, then the game will definitely fall apart. The co-op is so fun. It's so cool that they made the story mode 2 players because it's actually greatly improved my experience. I really like that they've added a bonus save option, so if I mess up and I fail, instead of immediately losing one of my 4 lives, my buddy has a chance to come in and learn from my mistakes. He can figure out what to do and potentially save our life. which I think makes it really fun because now it feels like we're actually playing together. It isn't necessarily just me or just him. And the co-op does a good job of rotating between alternating. I play, he play, I play, he play. But then there's sometimes where we are both playing and we are both doing the same mini game. And then my favorite thing is that there's times where we are playing at the same time and then we are both doing different things. And those feel so cool. I think the one that we saw in the trailer that is the easiest to explain is one where one of us is fanning up and down, and then the other of us is T-posed, turning 360. And it's so cool because you really feel like you're working as a team in a way that just is fun, is wacky, and is something that I don't think I've experienced in any other game, which has a charm to it. So many of the mini games are really fun. Again, I don't really want to spoil them. I'll only be showing some of them from the first couple worlds, but I think that they do a really good job of having a great variety. There's a couple different forms as you get into the later levels, so you aren't always doing the exact same form. You know, there's a little bit of jumping between different things. I can have all this praise for Warioware and still feel like, I don't know, would I recommend it to people? I think that it is ultimately a super fun game, and if you have a co-op person to play it with, I think it's totally worth it. It's a fun way to have a good time, you know, play some games, get moving, almost get back in the Wii era in the best way, which is funny to say as someone who doesn't like motion controls, but even as somebody who doesn't like motion controls, I find it super fun. But, you know Nintendo, it's $50, which I think we live in a universe now where Jackbox exists, and there's just so many, you know, Overcooked. There's so many different games that you can play if you're trying to bring something to a party with a bunch of people, especially a bunch of casual people, that is cheaper. I think that Warioware is a lot of fun, but I can imagine that it's just not super accessible. I feel like I would need to have somebody play the single player with me to get comfortable with the forms, to then jump to the party mode. I wish that they had a difficulty setting, and maybe some of them do. I haven't checked them all out yet. Maybe it's something they can add in if we make a big enough of a stink, but I really feel like they should have an option for it to just be one form, because like, come on Nintendo, you think I'm gathering all these people together and they're gonna immediately understand what choo-choo form means or what love-struck form means? Especially since most people who own a Switch don't even use the Joy-Cons. But yeah, honestly, Warioware, big thumbs up. If you're into the series, you will certainly enjoy it. And my biggest thing actually is that I hope it doesn't get lost this year because there are so many crazy games coming out. And I think Warioware is doing something super unique, super fun. I'm worried that the accessibility, the price, it might keep Warioware from taking off in a way that it potentially could. Have you been enjoying Warioware? Are you into Wario? Did you know that his mustache is actually nose hairs? Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and if you've enjoyed my little video, definitely give a like, give a little subscribe, and I'll be back next week to talk about Super Mario RPG. Thanks guys, have a good one.